pretty well picked over. Yes.
Just walking over to the building. One of the ironies on the University of Florida campus is that we know that our buildings are our major contributors to greenhouse emissions and all that kind of stuff. Even more so than transport, okay, cars, buses, and so forth. And one of the ironies to me anyway is that we've taken parking lots and we're making buildings in parking lots, driving people to park farther from campus. Okay, so the Board of Trustees decides that they're trying to decide a project, okay, whether to put in a new building services administration building or whether to move it out to campus. And they call you in. What sort of analysis do you present them with respect to whether they should build a building here, leave the parking lot there, put it out here, compress the space in which the current offices exist, or what? I mean, how do you reason through with the board on that?
Well, yeah, the first thing is why do they want to build it? Is there not something that's already here that can be refitted to serve that purpose? So, again, simple, reuse. Can we make it reduced? So what building materials? I see all these red bricks. So one of my first questions this morning is, how are they made? Where are they from? Right? So is that practice sustainable? So we want our building practice sustainable. So what can we reduce? What can we reuse to make that? How can we redesign that space that it can function, it can grow so we don't have to build again? Right? And again, that's the idea of the modular classroom or the modular office. So it's something that's flexible, that gives us, so again, that's the idea of conserving energy, but also planning for the future, not having to be wasteful. And taking into consideration all needs that are coming in, thinking it through. And do we need a parking lot? And if we need a parking lot, what does that parking lot serve? What are those cars doing? Now, if those are plug-in electric hybrids that are going to come in under solar shades, and they're going to be reducing energy for the campus all throughout the day, because you recharge them at night at a lower fee, and you drive them to campus, you plug them in, and you suck out your energy. Well, you let you have just enough to start up and go again. Maybe that's a better use. But if it's going to be a gas guzzling or E85 guzzling vehicle that's going to go there, sit there, and just soak up the sun and not do any good, maybe that's not the best use for that space. So each project needs to be why it needs to be there. What's already there? What can we use that we have around us? And then if we get to the point where we need to build or have a parking space, then what are they going to produce? What energy are they going to produce? How are they going to function? And for me, that's one of the big things. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to build a building? Are you trying to provide space for education or for administration or for athletics? So if you start thinking what the function is that you're trying to achieve, then everything else will start fitting in. How can we do that sustainably? Not how do we build a building to meet a need? What is that need really asking us to do? Is it asking us to build a building, or is it asking us to provide something else? And then how do we meet that need sustainably? Then I think when we start thinking about that, it'll be a lot clearer. And then we'll have spaces that are efficient, that meet our needs, that will grow. Because they're addressing a need, an outcome, and not our perception of what we're doing, building a building. That's something else. Or a place to park cars. So what is that? What are we trying to achieve? Trying to get students on campus efficiently? What's the best way? What's the most energy efficient way? The most way that energy will continue to be utilized out of that longest period. Again, you can't avoid this thermodynamics. It's got to go somewhere. Something else?
You talked a lot about how you feel education is a missing component in a lot of efforts. I guess I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on bridging the gap between educating people and getting them to actually change their behavior and become engaged. Just your thoughts on how you approach that and some best practices that you found effective and how you would bring that to campus.
Well, and I guess part of it goes back to my experience as being a literature professor, is trying to understand how my students, in this case, were trying to learn. facilitate the way that they continue to learn. Instead of me providing them information or telling them how they should learn, it's about engaging them in how they learn. So the first thing you do is you engage people and get them excited and motivated. Right? So you have green teams, that's great. You have grassroots movements. You bring people together and get them motivated and listen to their ideas. Because often they come up with something that's really great that you haven't thought of. And then help them to help you implement it. And then let it spread. And then make sure, again, that they can take it home with them. Right, so personal sustainability projects. So this can go from how they're going to be able to get to campus, how they're going to get spring break, how they're going to spend their summers, how they're going to move to graduate studies, or how they're going to move to the business world, or to the nonprofit world, or to government service. So it has to be something that they can that comes with confidence. It's not an end solution, it's something that's in flux and evolving, but then you have to be able to decide. And then you have people that have more knowledge, that specialize in this, that can help guide us. But again, it's all about communications, and that's what systems thinking is. Everything is fitting in with something else. And once you change something, everything else starts to adjust. So if you can get that change to move towards sustainability, your math professors eventually will come along to do it. I'm sure there's people who held on dearly to this slide rulers, but probably kind of difficult to find a class that they're requiring their students use slide rulers instead of computers now. But we can move that. Yes.
One of those ideas, and a lot of that requires some kind of funding to happen. How would you see procuring that in the Office of Sustainability to fund those individual projects as well as the bigger projects? How would you see the Office of Sustainability interfacing with the funding issue?
Well, as I mentioned, some of the drivers can be research. And that's right now, the stimulus package has a fair amount of money coming in. And there will be other people looking for it. So research is definitely one of driving this. So the more research is going into clean technology, even whether that's biofuels or renewable energy or smart grid technology or integration of medical devices, things like that. The more we can do that, you're going to attract funding. Also, and it's not, I don't know enough about the funding of the sustainability part here. It's not my place to say, but should they be funding this, or should they be helping people learn about sustainability so they can make the case to their departments, to their funding agencies, why they should be funding sustainability? So at the corporation I work for, we don't go out and fund solar panels for a new car. I go to corporate real estate and I explain to them why you should be doing this, and what's the business case, and what's the PR case. And then I go out to the customer experience and say, these are issues, why you should be funding this, because it's going to have this impact. But they don't have to hire someone in their group to figure this out. They can ask them. They always have someone to come back to give them ideas. And also, they can say, I've got an idea for sustainability, how to do this way. So that's, to me, what the Office of Sustainability should be doing, is helping with the strategy and help devise tactics for individuals. But the groups themselves, they need to practice sustainability. They need to take on that practice. And then that should become part of their budget. Otherwise, as soon as that money drops from the Office of Sustainability, then those other projects stop. So it needs to be embedded in that. It's the same thing with pedagogy. It may be major, but if sustainability starts finding itself into all classrooms, then it becomes something that is part of it, just as one might say active learning is now. But money's always a problem, but there's, like I said, there's a business case for sustainability. It's not just about being wonderful stewards of the planet in such a way, which strong in itself, but there actually is a financial case for it. And it's definitely one that has some short term, but also the long term view. And hopefully universities are looking at that long